Hello, Perkasie residents. My name is Joe Ferry, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Perkasie Town Improvement Association, I want to thank you for checking in. With the primary election just a few days away on May 18th, we thought it would be a good idea for you to hear personally from the two candidates who are running for mayor of Perkasie. It's a little unusual this year since neither of the candidates is listed on the ballot. They're both running as write-ins for a spot on the ballot in November to replace John Hollenbach, who has decided to retire from public office. By the way, we thank John for his many years of dedicated service. I should mention that there is at least one other candidate who is interested in running for mayor, longtime Perkasie Borough Electric Supervisor Matt Lynch. However, Matt is not seeking write-in votes during the primary. He said he will petition the Bucks County Board of Elections for a spot on the ballot as an independent in the fall. We'll hear from Matt at a later time, as well as any other candidate who might choose to run as an independent. One question I hear quite a bit is this: what exactly does a mayor do? In many ways, it's a ceremonial position. The mayor serves as an ambassador for the town, presiding over special events like weddings and business openings. And he represents the town at many meetings. But the mayor also has some real power, casting the deciding vote in the event of a tie on a matter before Borough Council, and also serving as the supervisor of the police department. One more thing, if you have questions about how and where you vote in the primary, check with the borough or with the Bucks County Board of Elections. Finally, many thanks to Corey and Heather Armedio for making their amazing studio here at PBR Productions available for these interviews. Okay, let's hear from the candidates. Okay, our first candidate is Jeff Hollenbach. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Joe. It's good to be here today.
Great. Let me tell you a little bit about Jeff. He graduated from Penridge High School in 1971. He earned his undergraduate degree in mathematics education from the University of Illinois and his master's degree from Kutztown University in secondary education counseling. Jeff started teaching math at Penridge in 1979 and, except for 2 years as a youth pastor, continued teaching at Penridge until his retirement in 2017. During his time at Penridge, Jeff coached football, baseball, basketball, boys and girls, tennis and softball for a total of more than 50 seasons. His football coaching resume includes 13 seasons as head coach, including a 113-47 record and 5 championships. Jeff currently serves as Vice President of Rampax, a local effort to address food insecurities. He also served as an interim administrator at Blooming Glen Mennonite Church from March 2019 to March 2021. He is also currently serving on the board of 2 nonprofits, the Worm Project, which buys medicine to treat children infected with parasitic worms in the poorest countries around the world, and Push the Rock, a sports ministry. Jeff has been married to Libby for 45 years. They have 4 children and 9 grandchildren. Jeff, again, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Joe.
Tell me what made you decide to run for mayor?
Well, first of all, just before I answer that, I want to say thank you for doing this. I think it's a wonderful idea to get this on the website and people get to know the candidates a little bit better. And also I want to wish best wishes to the other candidates next Tuesday and moving forward. What made me decide to run for mayor was a walk that Libby and I took a number of weeks ago now, and a neighbor came out from their home and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you for a minute," and said, "You know, I think maybe you should be running for mayor." And so I took time to consider that and talk with a number of important people in my life, and it stuck with me. And so after a number of days, I thought, yeah, I think this is something I want to do. And now, you know, many weeks later, I'm excited about it. I really enjoy my experience so far. I've met some terrific people and really enjoyed learning what's happening in Perkasie. I was raised here. This is a community of character and charm. It's a special place, and I was very privileged to be raised here. And so some of it for me is giving back. You know, it's time to give back and to serve the community if that's the way this goes for me. I want to share just a really quick story that happened early on in this. People said to me, "You need a social media presence." I'm not a social media guy, but I thought, how hard can this be? So I went on Facebook. I put in my friends and was following the directions, thought I was doing all the right things. And within a few minutes, I'm getting comments from people about, does Libby know about this? So apparently what I did, in one of those boxes there, I checked off that I'm just recently married. And so I need to clarify, I'm not just
Depends
recently
on how you
married.
define 45 years.
Yeah, that's right, but it is 45 going on 46 years this summer.
What do you think is the most important role that a mayor plays?
I think setting a positive tone of appreciation, of respect, of encouragement, as he or she communicates and interacts with council and the chief of police and the borough manager and in public settings. That tone is just thoroughly important. My experience in leadership tells me that a top-down, power-oriented, I'm in charge, nobody tells me what to do kind of approach is not only unmotivating and controlling, but it's also ineffective. So I think a good leader needs to listen well, to really hear what people are saying, to encourage, and really to empower others to be their best.
Now, you've been out hitting the streets talking to folks. What are the issues that you hear? What are the top 2 issues that you hear from folks?
So responsible development that raises home values, supports local businesses, and also respects the historical preservation, the character of this town. That balance of those two, I think, is really, really important. Along with that, investing in the roads and the infrastructure without raising taxes. Helping businesses and community groups reconnect after COVID. We've all been through this really, really difficult experience. There's a lot that is pulling us apart as a society, between the politics and the pandemic. And so my question is, can we come together? Can we look each other in the eye? Can we treat each other the way that we want to be treated? Avoid the negative, avoid the backbiting, the bitterness, and really promote the social values of peace and justice and equality and civility and kindness. Can we really come together as a community? I think we can. Fostering trust and healthy relationships with the law enforcement and working with them in their long-term goal of accreditation. Also really important, something I definitely hear from people as I talk with them. And then lastly, Penn Foundation, the borough, and the ministerium did a webinar a few weeks ago that addressed the really important issues of drug abuse and mental illness in the community. That's huge and something we need to think about moving forward.
What qualities do you as an individual possess that will make you an effective mayor?
So I spent my life in public service, over 30 years as teacher and a coach. In a conservative estimate, I've worked with over 6,000 students and athletes. Thoroughly enjoyed my time in that role. I've led a variety of groups, including a football staff of people with strong ideas and personalities. Again, thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm recently finishing a 2-year role as part-time administrator at a local church, and that included working through situations where people were in disagreement about a variety of roles and a variety of issues. So in those roles, as teacher, coach, and administrator, people describe me as steady, calming, positive, encouraging, and sometimes inspirational. And if I have the privilege of being elected, I will do my best to bring those traits to this role.
Great. Jeff, thank you very much for your time. Good luck to you on May 18th.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that.
Take care. Our second candidate is Kelly Laustsen. Kelly, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Joe, for having me.
Let me tell you a little bit about Kelly first. She's a graduate of Central Bucks East High School, has lived in the borough with her husband Darren and 2 young daughters, Camille and Carter, for 10 years. She is the owner of Bloom Flower Company, which is a full-service floral design studio and retail gift shop located right in the heart of downtown Perkasie. She's a member of the Positively Perkasie Events Committee, sponsors and volunteers with the Healthy Kids Running Series, and is the co-leader of the Bucks County Business Creatives Networking Group. Kelly also holds a merchandising and marketing degree from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Kelly, again, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Joe.
So tell me, what motivated you to run for mayor?
Well, it definitely has been a strange year, so to say. Don't have to tell you that. And what I've been most inspired by has been how our community has really banded together and supported one another. And I just think about all of our essential workers in our community. I think about our grocery store clerks, our teachers, our kids, how they've persevered through everything. And it has just really inspired me to give back to our community in some way, shape, or form. As you mentioned, I do own a business in the borough. I was affected a lot by the pandemic. I was able to pull through and pivot my business, and I really appreciate everything that a lot of the community members have done for me as a business owner, for my other fellow business owners on 7th Street and throughout the borough. And I can't think of a better way to give back to the community as a role of mayor. As you mentioned, I do have 2 young daughters, and when you're a parent, you want what's best for your children, and you strive to do everything you can in your power to make the community that you're living in the best place that it can possibly be. And I can't think of a better way than to work my butt off to ensure that our community is not only the best place for my family to grow in, but other families as well.
What do you think is the most important role that a mayor can play?
So I definitely think that the most important role that our mayor plays is overseeing our police department. And basically how that's broken down is our borough council delegates a lot of responsibility and delegates a lot of things to our borough manager, Andrea, over at the borough. Andrea, the mayor, and our chief of police work hand in hand to ensure public safety is met throughout Perkasie. And I take this role very seriously. I've already reached out to the chief of police, Chief Schur, and I've had a few conversations with him. I've had some conversations with Andrea over at the borough, and I've been talking to them and getting their perspective on things and how they think the next mayor can play a important role with them as a team, and also work hand in hand with borough council. I think that definitely making decisions together with council, with the mayor, with the police chief, and with Andrea are going to be, our borough manager, are going to be the most important aspects within that role, and really working together collaboratively.
Yep. I know you've been out knocking on doors, introducing yourself to voters. What are the things you're hearing? What are the issues that people care most about in the borough?
So definitely, as I've been out meeting members of the community, knocking on doors, I've gotten a lot of feedback on how Perkasie is currently growing economically, where we're headed, and how we can continue to basically encompass the small town charm that we all love. I think these 2 issues go hand in hand, and I don't think that they necessarily have to be mutually exclusive. Perkasie's small town charm is what made me fall in love with the town. When my husband and I were looking at our home to buy, 10 years ago, we quickly realized this was the town for us. We went to dinner at the Perk, and we realized how much of a community and how much of a small town vibe and appreciation we had for our community. And I want to continue to grow that. And I definitely think there's a unique balance between growing the community in the right way, that we're supporting our locally owned businesses, but that we're also maintaining those parks and those green spaces as well.
Interesting. Now, how about you? What qualities do you possess personally that'll make you an effective mayor?
So I am an extrovert. I am creative. As you mentioned, I do own a business in town. So I am a leader. I am an employer. I was able to adapt and change through a pandemic and pivot my business and come back almost stronger than ever. So I definitely know how to work through change. I am an approachable person, and I'm very personable, and I definitely want to be someone that will listen to concerns regardless of political affiliation or background. And I'm a Perkasie enthusiast. I love being a part of as many community events as we possibly can, as a family, as a business owner. I love sharing stories about Perkasie, and I feel like I'm a good consensus builder. I'm not afraid to talk to people and work through, any issues that might come at hand. And I I just feel like I'm very approachable. So
Okay. Kelly, thank you very much for being here today. Good luck on May 18th.
thank you. Thanks for having me.